Alright, in this video we're going to learn about the difference between taking the opposite of something and taking the reciprocal of something. Oftentimes they get mixed up between the two, and it's important that you always are able to keep track of them. So the opposite is the same number but negative. So the opposite, for example, of 5 would be negative 5. The opposite of 1/2 would be negative 1/2. The opposite of a negative number, the opposite of, say, for example, negative 3, is positive 3. Because if you take the negative of negative 3, negative and a negative cancel out, giving you positive. So when you add up two numbers that are opposites, they always equal 0. So if you add these two together, you get 0, add them 0, add them 0. So opposite is the same value but negative. A reciprocal, on the other hand, means you flip the top and bottom of a fraction, and therefore it always multiplies to 1. So for example, if you had a 1/2, the reciprocal of that is a 2. If you had a 3/7, the reciprocal of that would be 7/3. Let me draw an arrow to show. And I guess all these. If you had a negative number, even though you flip the top and bottom, it stays negative. So if you have like negative 6, the reciprocal of that is negative 1/6. So it stays negative, but you flip top and bottom. If you have 22, the reciprocal is 1/22. So you flip the numerator and the denominator. So let me fill in this table with some examples. Say like a 10, negative 5, and I don't know, 7/4. So if the number is 10, the opposite is negative 10, and the reciprocal of 10 would be 1/10. If the opposite of some number is negative 5, what was the original number? Well, it's opposite sign, so it must have originally been a 5. And what's the reciprocal of the original number? That would be 1/5. Okay, if 7/4 is the reciprocal, what must have the original number have been? 4/7. Again, opposite and reciprocal, they undo each other if you do them over and over. So if you take the opposite and then you take the opposite again, you get back to where you were. If you take the reciprocal and then you take the reciprocal again, you get back to where you were. So the reciprocal of the reciprocal takes you back to the original. And the opposite of 4/7 is negative 4/7. So I know this is very quick, hopefully very simple, but just to differentiate between opposite and reciprocal, and how to do one versus the other. You want to use opposites when you're getting rid of adding and subtracting. You want to use reciprocals when you're getting rid of multiplying and dividing.